5 running backs I'm looking to get and buy low going into week 8 of the fantasy football season. Number 1 is Ezekiel Elliott. Once again, another bad performance from Zeke the Freak of the Dallas Cowboys. That Cowboy offensive line is decimated with injuries. 5 starters and 4 of them are out. Zeke last week with a horrible fantasy game, but they got nothing going in a rainy, cold game versus the Washington football team. Zeke with only 6 fantasy points. But Zeke, he's still a freak in my opinion, and this is the week to go and get him. His value the last 2 weeks has dropped. He had 12 versus Arizona because of 2 fumble losses, so he still would have had a 16-point game in PPR, and then 6 last week, and he's got Philly and Pittsburgh in the bye coming up. So maybe you could go out there and trade a number 2 running back and a number 2 or 3 receiver to get Elliott, because I think this is the lowest his value will be. Dallas, they'll figure things out. Zach Martin, he should be back for this game, hopefully, to help Zeke in that offensive line. Dalton and DiNucci, could they be any worse than they were on Sunday? And Zeke, he's still going to get the carries, obviously, even though we've seen Pollard the last few weeks eat into it. But I think at the end of that game, it was just to get Zeke some rest. So Zeke, he's going to get the 15 to 20 carries a game. He's going to get back in it. This Cowboy team, they just got to regroup. So if there's a disgruntled Ezekiel Elliott owner out there, you go out there and you try to buy Zeke right here, right now. The second guy is Nick Chubb, still on the injured list, but he's going to be back in week 10. So if you're in a decent position right now and you're 3-4 and you want to get that big running back and make one more push, to wait 2 more weeks for Nick Chubb ain't a bad thing if you could split. But anyway, Nick Chubb will be back. He's going to be the workhorse over there, getting 25, 30 carries. Even with Hunt there, Hunt was eating into some of his work before the injury. But now with Beckham out, I feel like the Browns will run the ball even more heavy than they did, because now they only got Landry and Higgins at receiver. So Nick Chubb, if the owner, he can't wait 2 more weeks. This is the last week. You probably go out there and get Nick Chubb for a little bit of a discount. The third guy is another guy coming off injury. This week it looks like he won't play, but this guy's still a top runner in this game, and it's Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. There's reports that Mike Davis will still get work when McCaffrey comes back, but I don't buy it. Davis, he'll be a little bit of change of pace back, but they paid McCaffrey all this huge money in the offseason, and I just don't see it that he's going to give up some work to Davis. So Christian McCaffrey, some owners, they've survived without him. In a few leagues, I've seen owners 6-1, 5-2 with McCaffrey, who's been out since week 2. So if they're looking to make a deal and trade him to get some value, they might do it. So Christian McCaffrey's a guy I'm going to try to go out there and buy for sure, because you know he's a dynamic back. He's going to get the full work. It's Chase Edmonds. I don't know if there will be a premium on his price to try and get him, but Chase Edmonds, he's going to be the starter now for a few weeks with Kenyon Drake banged up, and we saw Edmonds have a top 5 running back performance in week 7, and he came in the third quarter about when he started getting work. Edmonds, he could catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a quick runner. I don't know if he's an every down back in between the tackles, though, but for PPR, he's a perfect running back to go get. You probably don't have to give up that much to get him. I would say a number 2 receiver to get Chase Edmonds, and he could have number 1 running back potential. So Edmonds, he's definitely a guy I'm looking to get this week. He's on the bye this week, so this might be the week to try to get him before we see what he could really do with a full workload heading into week 9 next week. So Chase Edmonds, the 4th guy I want to trade for this week at running back. And the 5th and final guy is, Clyde EdwardsHelaire. I know Le'Veon Bell is there, but Hilaire, he still had a pretty decent game versus Denver considering the snow conditions in that ball game. I know Le'Veon Bell got 6 carries. He looked good for 40 yards. But Hilaire, he's going to get more work. That game was a blowout, so the game script was all over the place. The Chiefs were barely on offense, it seemed like, that whole game. So Hilaire, he still had a touchdown. He had 13.5 fantasy points. So I think Hilaire will be fine. He's got a good schedule coming up the next 2 with the Jets and the Panthers. So you go out there and buy him, because I know some owners, they're panicking with Le'Veon Bell in Kansas City now. But Helaire, they drafted him early in the draft, and I don't see them going away from him. Even in a split, he's still going to get you, I think, 12 to 15 points weekly for running back 2 value. I know he was drafted as a number 1 back for your team in the first round this year. But EdwardsHelaire, he's a guy I'm going out there and I'm trying to trade for, because he came off a little bit of a split with Bell. So this might be the week to go out there and pounce on him. So that's 5 running backs I'm looking to trade for this week and buy going into week 8.